Alright everyone, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. Today we're doing a follow-up video. I'm planning to do a few more of these before the end of the year, but this one is following up on a video I made back in January. It was this video, an overview of all the future international train connections that are planned to run in the Netherlands. For the last few years, international trains have seen a surge in popularity across many parts of Europe, and since I'm from the Netherlands, I found it helpful, mostly for myself, to list all the developments that we could come to expect. And in that video, I said if there were any major updates on any of these projects, I would make a follow-up video. Well, now there's been enough news where I think it's time to make our first follow-up. So here's what I'm gonna do. For the sake of time, I'm going to assume that you watched the original video. If you haven't yet, or if you need a refresher, a link to the video is in the description. It provides context and, like I said, a complete overview of all the different plans that existed back in January. Today, I will only discuss those plans that have changed since then. If there's no news about a certain train, I just won't be discussing it today. So without further ado, let's dive in, and let's start with some good news. On the intercity service between Amsterdam and Brussels, operated by national railway operator NS, the new intercity new generation train sets built by Alstom entered service last week. Until December, this is kind of a test run with passengers on board. So northbound, 3 trains a day will run from Brussels to Lelystad Centrum in the Netherlands. However, southbound, the 3 trains will originate at different stations. And then starting in December, NS will operate an hourly service between Lelystad and Brussels. This will be known as Eurocity Direct. Meanwhile, the Belgian railways will run their own hourly service between Brussels and Rotterdam. This one will make a few more stops and be called the Eurocity. And essentially, it'll double the frequencies between the two countries. Now onto some bad news regarding Eurostar. As you may know, Eurostar and the former company Thalys have merged to form one company, Eurostar. From Amsterdam, Eurostar runs to Paris and London, and as you can imagine, these are popular services. In fact, Eurostar just announced that they will be joining SkyTeam, the airline alliance, to provide easier connections from airlines like Air France, KLM, Delta to the train. However, their future in the Netherlands may be in jeopardy. In an article published in the financial newspaper Financieel Dagblad, the CEO of Eurostar warned the Netherlands that the company may have to withdraw out of the country entirely. They don't want to. Holland is the market that they see the most potential for growth in, but the country is forcing their hand, or so she says. It's a little bit complicated, but let me explain. The trains that Eurostar uses on services to London are very long, 400 meters. And because the United Kingdom is not in the Schengen zone, the group of countries that allow free movement between them, passengers from Amsterdam to London have to clear border control at a facility on the platform in Amsterdam or Rotterdam. However, Amsterdam Central Station has been under construction, and as a result, there is no platform long enough for Eurostar that also has space for border facilities. That's actually why for the last few months, passengers to London have all had to get off the train and go through border control in Brussels. And that situation is just not sustainable, said the CEO. In response, Dutch authorities responsible for the construction in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago guaranteed that the construction will be done by January, and the direct trains to London can start running again. But the platform capacity is not Eurostar's only concern. Currently, Eurostar trains in the Netherlands run on the country's only high-speed line, from the Belgian border up to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. And this line was built for speeds of 300 kilometers per hour, but in 2022, they found little cracks in the concrete on several bridges. So the speed was initially lowered to 120 kilometers per hour, and this summer it was lowered even further to 80 kilometers per hour. Safety first, sure, but this embarrassing speed restriction is projected to last until at least 2026. Eurostar says that these reduced speeds mean they might have to pull out of the Netherlands entirely. And so far, the government's response kind of seems to be calling Eurostar's bluff. Their public comments seem to suggest that they're not too worried, but I might be. There are a handful of companies that want to run their own high-speed trains in the Netherlands, but so far, Eurostar is the only one actually doing so. And losing that would be a disaster that would push a lot of people into short-haul flights. Let's move to the east now. There have been some changes in the service between the Netherlands and Germany. For years, the Deutsche Bahn has run their intercity express service from Frankfurt to the Netherlands, via Cologne and Dusseldorf. One round trip per day ran all the way to Basel in Switzerland. However, since this past July, the direct train between Amsterdam and Basel was scrapped due to ongoing construction in Germany. Instead, starting in December, it will be replaced with one daily round trip between Amsterdam and Munich. This ICE will mostly use high-speed lines while in Germany, and passengers going to Switzerland can still transfer in Mannheim, and their journey time will be about the same as it was back when the train was direct. Since June, the brand new ICE3 Neo trains built by Siemens have been running in the Netherlands. These state-of-the-art trains replace the increasingly unreliable ICE3M trains that were previously used on services between the Netherlands and Germany. Something else being affected by construction in Germany, starting in December, both of the Nightjet sleeper trains serving the Netherlands will take different routes. Currently, the train to Vienna and Innsbruck, as well as the train to Zurich, run via Arnhem. But starting in November already, the train to Vienna will be rerouted through Amersfoort, Deventer, Münster, and Kassel. Meanwhile, the train to Zurich will be diverted through Venlo. Furthermore, starting in 2026, NS wants the current Nightjet to Austria to be divided into two separate trains. Right now, cars to Vienna and cars to Innsbruck are split from each other overnight in Germany. NS wants the two trains to run separately all the way from Amsterdam. Additionally, starting in 2025, the idea is for the brand new cars built by Siemens to come to the Netherlands. These are already in service in other countries, and they have the famous new sleeping capsules. For a full review, check out my friend Nonstop Eurotrips video. European Sleeper is a private startup that also started running overnight trains between Brussels and Berlin in May of 2023. These trains serve several major cities in the Netherlands, and in March of 2024, they were extended to Prague, and now they're looking to expand. They announced that in February of 2025, they will launch a seasonal train to Innsbruck in Austria and Venice in Italy. This will run for a few weeks in February and March. The plan is also to eventually run a regular train between Amsterdam and Barcelona in Spain. Their intention was to start this service up next year. However, negotiations with the French railway network are, tough. So it probably won't be until 2026 before we see that train. Another private startup known as GoVolta recently announced that they will start running trains between Amsterdam and Berlin, likely in September of 2025. Within a matter of weeks, they could also add services to Basel in Switzerland and Copenhagen in Denmark. Then there is Flixtrain. Back in January, I said that Flixtrain was planning to run trains from Germany into the Netherlands, with a final destination of Rotterdam. Well, they received permission to do so, and then this week, they randomly announced that they were no longer looking at this option. I wonder what's going on there. I know Flixtrain is controversial, but I think it would have been fun to see the bright green trains between the blue and yellow trains in the Netherlands. And finally, when we're talking about regional trains, June 30th of 2024 was a big day. Arriva finally started running their Trinational regional express train between Aachen in Germany, Maastricht in the Netherlands, and Liège in Belgium. It runs every half hour between Maastricht and Aachen, and once every hour between Maastricht and Liège. It's not a perfect service. Because the Belgians refused to let Arriva place Dutch chip card readers at Belgian stations, international passengers now have to tap in and out multiple times on a journey, which is annoying and pointless. There is some good news on the German side though. Arriva passengers have been able to use the Dutch app known as Glimbal for tickets up to Aachen, and now passengers can use the Glimbal app all the way to Cologne, even though Arriva doesn't even run that far. I love when agencies make it easier to take transit instead of harder. That's all the news that I have to add to the video that I made in January. Remember, there are many more plans than what was listed today, and you can find all of those in that original video. Today's news wasn't all positive, but I do hope that the decision makers come together to make decisions that benefit passengers and our environment. Thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. I have a lot of fun projects that I'm working on right now, and I can't wait to share them with you. We'll see you next time.